we have spent the last 10 years travelling to some of the most haunted locations around the country, performing countless paranormal investigations with the aim of documenting supernatural events. On many occasions we've been fortunate enough to bear witness to activity which defies all logical explanation, giving us a glimpse into an unseen world that exists alongside ours. This year, to mark our 10th anniversary, we asked which locations we should return to carry out further investigations, and there were 3 places that many of our viewers were eager for us to revisit. So join us as we delve deeper into the shadows, push further into the darkness, and explore the great unknown in our 10th anniversary special. Construction of the Harwich Redoubt Fort in Essex began in 1808 and was designed to protect the port of Harwich from a growing threat of a Napoleonic invasion. Despite not seeing any action throughout the 19th century, many soldiers were indeed stationed here, ready to jump to arms and defend Britain should the need arise. After a brief period of abandonment in the late 1800s, the fort had a number of minor military uses, including being used as a detention centre for British troops awaiting their trial, before being left derelict in the late 1940s. After many decades of neglect, in 1969 the Harwich Society began to resurrect the old fort, clearing it from years of debris and transforming it into a museum, mainly focusing on the local military history, with many artefacts both discovered at the fort and around the town of Harwich. It's since its reopening as a museum that many visitors claim to have experienced strange events, including hearing the sound of footsteps following them through rooms and up staircases, as well as sightings of figures gliding past windows, but upon inspection, no one is to be found. These inexplicable events are thought to be down to the ghosts of old personnel who were stationed at the fort, maybe still performing their duties nearly 200 years later. I have to say the Harwich Redoubt Fort is probably one of the most active places we've ever investigated.
Last time we were here, it was so intense. Like every room we went into, we felt something.
We experienced all kinds of phenomena here. We saw shadow figures moving about, we heard footsteps, we had interaction with our equipment, heard voices, basically any type of phenomena you can think of we experienced here.
One of the more interesting things that we had happen, that we actually captured on camera, was the cabinet down the end that has all the mannequins in with the glass or perspex front. Luke actually filmed something knock against the perspex, and you can hear it on the video and actually see the glass move. That's a level of activity that we've not recorded at any other place so far.
I think coming back tonight, we're just going to have to try and really push it as far as we can.
We've got to absolutely film and document everything that's happening.
Also maybe try out a few new little experiments and things that we haven't tried before.
I have no doubt that things will happen here, and it's just a case of being in the right place at the right time, and for however long bursts of activity happen, we've just got to really focus as much as we can and get as much out of it as possible.
Before we'd even begun our investigation, James and Sophie both experienced a strange series of events whilst off filming B-roll and cutaway shots.
I can proper hear noises behind us. And I just had a breath. I can proper hear noises behind us. And I just had a breath. I can proper hear noises behind us. And I just had a breath. You're walking.
It could be Luke.
So we're currently in the organ room. Just getting some B-roll. Luke's on the phone at the moment.
He's up and out, like by the
on
gates.
On the roof.
So yeah.
But we were just in here getting some B-roll and started hearing noises.
Can already hear noises happening. Like breathing. Sort of.
I'm sure I heard like something back in.
Definitely, yeah, some sort of like shuffle banner.
There was something back in there. This bit goes through to the
Base camp.
yeah, the base camp area. That's Luke. He's not out there. I just heard talking. He's not out.
There was definitely talking out here, and he's not out here at all.
Yeah, they was talking just now. Oh, I wonder if he's out by the front gate, out by the car.
Where's the front entrance in regards to
To the left, I think. Or it might be directly above us.
That's what I'm wondering. It weren't Luke. He'd been up and out by the gates the whole time.
What?
Yeah.
Did you
I went all the way up to the top.
did you both
and
like
he was still in the gate.
I've not left.
did you both like burst out laughing loud?
Yeah.
Okay.
I made him jump.
I heard that from here.
No, I haven't left upstairs.
He hadn't come down since he went upstairs. We definitely heard talking out there.
Yeah, we thought you were about to come in.
No, I
Do you remember I said we could hear, there's walking?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's Luke walking towards here.
No, I've literally stayed
Because I
up.
opened the door and I went, Luke,
Yeah.
you weren't there.
No,
That's why
I
come up.
haven't left, and I think I'm the opposite side, haven't I?
Yeah,
Or
it was.
You're
up that way, I think.
up and out, yeah.
No, I didn't come down. I went out the gate to get some bits out of the car,
Yeah.
and that's it. I came back in, and then I saw you up there.
Yeah.
After a promising start at the fort, we were swift in setting up our equipment and getting our investigation underway. It was only 30 minutes after recording that a locked-off camera we had stationed in one of the rooms captured our first glimpse of one of the ghosts of the fort. We can tell that this anomaly appeared just outside of the window, as we created a similar effect when walking past earlier on in the recording. Of course, with 3 people walking around an enclosed area with infrared lights and torches that could easily create a shadow, we had to dig deeper and try and explain this. Luckily enough, we'd placed an exterior camera just opposite the room and were able to match up the footage easily by going when we initially left the room. Fast forwards to when the shadow was captured, nothing at all can be seen on the other camera, which makes no sense whatsoever. Despite this, it does rule out us creating the shadow, either by walking past it or with our camera lights and torches. This was a fantastic capture, and although creates more questions than answers, it would lead the way for what would prove to be a very active night. Later on, James decided to try a few audio recording experiments with various microphones linked up to a laptop, giving us the ability to do a live analysis of our recordings in the hopes of capturing EVP, or electronic voice phenomena, voices which appear on electronic recording instruments that were not there at the point of recording.
Anyone in this part of the building who wants to come and talk to us or has a message or something they want to pass over, we've got this device here on the side. If you talk into, hopefully we'll hear your voice. So anyone who's in this part of the fort, come to this room and speak into this thing, and we'll see if we can hear you.
If there is anybody in this fort, in Harwich Redoubt Fort, could you please come to the room with the plane wreckage in? We're here now, we've got means of communicating with you. We have some technology here that will record your voice. So if you can come here please and speak really, really loudly into the equipment that we've brought along.
Last try in this area for a bit. If there's anyone else or anyone who is still in this part of the building, can you please come towards us? Speak as loud as you can. You use the energy from the things we're holding in our hands, these little lights, these cameras, and try and make your voice heard into this area. We should be able to hear you. There is no sound at all.
No, that was silent.
What the hell was that? No way.
Oh my god. That's actually brought tears to my eyes.
That's a couple seconds only into
Was that a little child?
It was.
And that was the most... We've got a whole, we've got a whole conversation going on. Listen to the rest of it. We've got to listen.
We were completely silent. There was no sound.
100% no.
This kind of spooked me out.
I've got chills, I've got goosebumps, that is... upending, man.
How? That's a whole conversation recorded.
It sounds like a whole group of children.
Like a classroom or something.
Yeah.
What the hell?
What room are we in? The desks?
No. Do you remember when we first came here? She said that the soldiers all had their family and they all slept in the same room together.
The first time we came round.
Do you remember that? When
Yes.
What room are we in?
God, no, don't. Oh my God.
What room is it?
This is the soldiers' room. This is where they would have lived and slept. They brought their whole families came to the fort with them. There'd have been families living in here, and that sounds like a family.
It's a whole family.
Just sounds like day-to-day life of children playing.
Look, you can see, so on here, so we've got these waveforms that are moving along here. You can see where we've picked stuff up just from these little fluctuations where they're coming out of this main bar.
Yeah.
There's some, look, we were dead silent.
Yeah, 100%.
There's something big that happened here.
That. It's almost
Like, is it like a cough? Cough is exactly what I was going to say. A cough.
Oh, I've got goosebumps.
So this is the thing as well. So you can look at this and maybe say, oh, is it like sound matrixing or something? But with sound matrixing, what you tend to get, so on this section here, for instance, all of this bit is pretty much uniform the whole way along.
Yeah.
You can see there's no sort of spike or anything.
in that main line.
And so you listen to this and you probably go like, oh, I can hear voices and stuff in it. But that would be more sound matrixing. It's just pure white noise.
The bits
But
where the spikes are.
Something like this.
Where there are, and you can see the
There's
actual
visible
spikes.
There was literally no sound. Though.
I can't believe that. I cannot believe that.
Look at the magnitude of these as well. They're not small spikes. Look, these, look. You can see there's something there, something, then nothing, something there,
Yeah.
nothing, then something big there. And it's all spots where we've got sound. So, I talked last time, do you want to go this one? Then I'll get recorded.
Yeah. Is there anybody that can hear my voice at the moment? If you can, and you're aware that we're here in the fort, we just heard you. We heard you speaking. I don't know how aware you are of us hearing you, but that has completely blown our minds. As far as I'm aware, we've heard a conversation from a different time period to what we're in now. Can you try and speak to us again? Let us hear you. Push forward into our world.
Someone laughing. Oh, do you hear that? Is it that bit there? That's a dog. These aren't sounds from the port.
No, where's the
they're all
dog?
short. They're all short.
Yeah?
Oh, you had a dog?
Yeah. Is that like a man talking?
Yes, on that bit. What is this? That could be the port.
That was the port. That was boomy. Save that.
But again, like,
Would that?
you look at that wave, you look at these waveforms, and like this one, for instance, this is like almost entirely flat.
After incredible results in the soldiers' room, we decided to try some recordings over in the former prison cells, where British soldiers were kept awaiting their trial.
Is there anyone who's still in the prison bit with us? Anyone who's still in these cells? We'd like it if any of you could come forwards and talk to us in some way. If you can make your voice heard as loud as possible in this sort of area, maybe Woodhouse, maybe Morley. Just a minute at a time. There was something that picked up on the waveform after I finished talking there.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
What's that? Can you turn the volume up on it?
What the fuck?
Can you turn the volume
That wasn't any of us talking.
up? No.
There was silence whilst that was recorded. Absolute
Do you know what
silence.
it says?
Wait, don't tell me, let me listen. You want
You
some?
asshole.
You want some or you arsehole?
What did you get?
I heard you in like a Scottish accent, like you bastard. Like you bastard.
Go on.
Could be. You bastard. I hear it.
I could have been. Oh my
You want
god.
some, you asshole, you bastard, along those lines.
There was no sound at all when I recorded that.
No.
I can hear it. I can hear it in a Scottish
It's
accent.
got
It's
Scottish
really
accent.
weird.
Well, the walls of the graffiti in there is all like so and so the bastard. It's all by the Glasgow bit.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Glaswegian.
Look, the whole in this one. There we go. Over in this corner here, obviously K2 is it? Over in this corner here.
Yeah.
Careful.
Yeah. Woodhouse.
No.
Bastard. Fuck Woodhouse. He's a shite hoot, the bastard. And then where's the bit about the Glaswegian?
It's this whole bit they're all saying on here.
Can't
Yeah,
keep
can't keep
Glasgow
the Glasgow
man
man
down.
Good old Hive. Expect Gower.
But on this one, I think, on this side as well, we had all like about. Yeah.
We think we heard someone's voices now. Someone from Glasgow, maybe. We're talking about Woodhouse. If so, if you can hear us, if you can talk to us in some way, can you shout as loud as possible for as long as you can, like proper scream, so we can hear your voice? Did you hear both of them?
The zoomy thing.
Yeah. Did you hear both of them? There was the first one goes like far away, and the second one goes ah. At least that's what I heard.
Oh, there's like quite a guttural sound there.
That one there goes oh. That one, that's the sound going like and the one after is you can hear like throwing up.
That's what I meant when I said guttural.
Yeah. It's a proper like cough.
That's the noise you make when you throw up. You're right, that like that, isn't it?
That was bloody good, that.
You're welcome. How do you think I managed to get out of school most days?
It sounds like someone's getting beaten up.
Maybe. Maybe it was Woodhouse.
It's not implausible in a prison.
Yeah.
It sounds
And it's not like it's a legit prison.
It
You know
sounds
what I
like
mean?
someone is in a fight. Right. Boost it up, there we go. Someone's getting punched.
It's a thud, isn't it? I think that bit before was a thud.
There's like 3 punches and you hear a person going like, ooh, at the end of it. It's like here. Yeah.
When you get punched in the gut.
Was there something said there?
Yeah,
Around this area
literally
somewhere.
the first bit, you hear like an impact. That, and then someone goes, oh, afterwards. There.
Stop.
As we entered the early hours of the morning, our time investigating the forts came to an end. For us, it had been an extremely interesting night, not just for the huge amount of activity we had captured, but also the contrast in different types of activity from last time. We all went away hoping that this would not be our last visit to the Harwich Redoubt Fort. Originally built in 1940, the base began its life as a satellite field for nearby RAF Watton before passing over to the United States Army Air Forces in 1943. The group stationed at Bodney flew hundreds of missions over the English Channel, with the P-51 Mustangs in their characteristic silver and blue livery coming to be known as the Blue-Nosed Bastards of Bodney. After 2 years of service, including aerial support on D-Day, the group returned to the United States in November of 1945, and thereafter the site was returned to agriculture, with only a few buildings being left to the elements for nearly 80 years. During its operation, a young pilot, Lieutenant Robert C. Franscotti, crashed his P-51 Mustang into the old control tower on the opposite side of the airbase during takeoff, killing him instantly. As with many pilots, he had named his aircraft, calling it Umbriago, which in Italian means drunk. However, it's thought he may have named it after a wartime song of the same name by Jimmy Durante. It's thought that he, as well as a number of his fellow pilots who never returned home, along with some of the base's former personnel, today haunt parts of the airfield, as well as the control tower where we will be performing tonight's investigation.
So overall, our first investigation here at RAF Bodney was fairly quiet.
Like most places we go to, we're not really sure what we're going to be experiencing or running into, especially with somewhere like this where it's so remote, and it really is just sort of a shell of a building.
We didn't really have any interaction with anything here. However, there was one particular event that caught our interest, and I think this is the reason why a lot of people wanted us to return here. We were upstairs at the control tower and we decided to play a piece of music. Now, there was a pilot here that actually crashed and died, and he named his aeroplane after this particular song. So we decided to play that song and just see if it would kind of bring about any sort of activity. And probably one of the strangest things I've ever experienced happened. All three of us heard the sound of a clock ticking.
What's that? That was really slight over there. I think it was a clock.
I swear on my nan's life, I was sat in here earlier and I heard a clock ticking.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. When you and James were outside, downstairs, and I was sat up here in a circle, I still can't get my head around that ticking sound. I mean, I remember saying that, you know, I swear I heard it, like, and we were all adamant that it was there.
Still can't really explain that, because at the time I thought maybe that was to do with something that was off way in the distance that we could hear, but it was reverberating inside the room with us. We thought maybe it could have been sort of stone tape theory of a clock or something that was on the wall that we were hearing.
We actually looked, and we came here a few days before the anniversary of D-Day, which this base actually assisted with. Now, whether this is kind of romanticising the haunting or drawing lines and dotting lines that aren't there, but there was some kind of a connection there. It does seem extremely strange.
They were just started the investigation. We're in the downstairs area. It's not a euphemism. And we're checking out these rooms.
Is there anybody in this control tower with us? Any personnel from RAF Bodney? We've just come here to visit today. We don't mean you any harm by being here. We've just come for a look around. We was here about 5 years ago. I don't know if you remember us.
My name's Sophie.
I'm James.
I'm Luke. Is there any kind of a sign you could give us?
Half expecting that coffee cup thing there to go fly.
Yeah. Shall we try upstairs?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking downstairs to me feels quite just
Quiet.
yeah, and it's upstairs where we had stuff before, so it makes sense.
Coming in burn.
Is there anybody up here? What was that?
The torch went out of my pocket.
I thought you knocked the building down.
I thought if that's been shot at. Or he dropped the camera. God forbid.
Early on in our investigation, we decided to bring out a speaker and play the same song we had done on our last visit, which seemed to trigger some activity. So there's anybody in here? We're going to play a song now. I know last time that we got some kind of reaction from playing this. We're going to give it a go now. If you can come forwards, do you recognise this piece of music?
Second into the yacht. I know a fellow who can make your life so millions of metal. There's one like him in every town. He's half a man and half a clown. So when you feel low, better send for my friend Umbriaco. Umbriaco.
That had a weird new direction.
Like as soon as it started playing, I was like,
Yeah.
Made it.
Who's not talking?
That's what I heard.
Who's not talking?
That's what I heard.
Who's not talking?
That's what I heard. You heard a voice, right?
yeah. It sounded like a man's voice from the Jordan.
Swear I heard talking.
I did.
I thought it was someone walking up here.
Should we play it again?
Hang on, listen.
Check there's no one here.
Yeah, jeez, that was so. You heard it?
Yeah. Couldn't make out distinctly what was being said, but I heard a voice.
That was really weird. I thought that was someone on the path.
No one's up here, are they?
After everything settled down again in the control tower, we played the song once again, trying to initiate more of a reaction.
Umbriaco was looking at cow upside down. And I said, Umbriaco, what's the idea of looking at cow upside down? And he said, why not? I want the cream to come out on top. Oh, when you feel low, there's a head for my friend Umbriaco.
What's that? You heard it?
I heard something metallic then.
It's only been. That's.
Right, well, keep going, play again.
Yeah, start again.
That's really love. They even like them down in Chile. When you worry, better send for my friend Umbriaco.
We played the song a few more times but didn't document any more responses to it. For some strange reason, it almost seemed that the music acted like a key to the control tower, unlocking echoes of its past. Something else that we found quite interesting is how the activity gradually faded off into nothing, starting with audible voices, progressing through to quiet sounds and later an EVP, so faint we weren't even able to hear it with our own ears, before fading into nothing.
Cole Christmas Church was probably one of the most surprising locations we've ever investigated.
Pretty much within 5 minutes of us being here, I didn't feel comfortable. I felt really uneasy.
It's the only place that I can think of that I felt the physical effects of something really negative upon us.
About halfway into the investigation, I felt really, really nauseous, like I was actually going to throw up. And we had to sort of step out of the area into the field that's the other side, because I genuinely thought I was going to throw up.
Usually we find with very popular places that a lot of people come to, and places with a lot of stories and legends attached to them, we often find they're not actually as active and never live up to expectation. However, Cole Christmas Church was completely the opposite.
So one of the weirdest things I remember from last time was seeing a dog-like figure that was in front of the church over in this direction, It's completely out of the blue to see anything like that here. It definitely wasn't a like a muntjac or anything like that, because even though it was dark, we still had some visibility around, and even on the camera you can see there's nothing actually shows up on the camera in that spot. So it wasn't falsely seeing something.
After our investigation, we were told about a story here which we must have overlooked during our research, of a supposed bagpiper who lost his dog in the underground tunnels of the church. And the legend goes his ghost still haunts here today, playing his bagpipes, trying to find his dog. Now, on the investigation, without any prior knowledge of this story, James believed he saw a black dog. And later on in the night, we also heard the sound of some kind of strange buzzing sound that we could find no explanation for. Very strange. Whether that's tied into the story of the bagpiper and his dog, I don't know, but there certainly did seem to be some kind of weird connection there.
I'm quite intrigued to see what else we get. If anything new comes up, maybe we'll get some more voices, or a similar buzzing noise that we heard before. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to tonight's investigation, and hopefully it goes well.
Is there anyone in this churchyard? We're here a few years ago, and we certainly felt you around and certainly made contact with someone here. Wonder if you could come out this evening and see us, show yourself to us, let us hear you, let us feel you. We've set up a device over there with a little red light. You can interact with that. There's an aerial sticking out of it. If you can try and move it, knock it over.
If there's anything here at this church with us tonight, we'd appreciate it if you could come forwards and show yourself in some way, or do something to show us that you're here. Maybe it's someone who's buried here, maybe something else.
Our investigation began with a little happening, so we decided to step out of the church grounds to see if we could feel a change in atmosphere or ambience of the churchyard.
I just got like a really weird vibe that like something's coming with us.
Following us?
Yeah, like because we're going out, it's almost like something like a few paces behind.
Like something's joined us.
Yeah. So like, see you're stood there, it's probably like about this sort of like distance between. Just kind of slowly following us as we come out. Like, it's weird. Like, it made me want to turn around and make sure nothing was there.
Yeah, it definitely gets different after dark here.
Yeah, so I want to go into that path and then
Walk back in.
walk back in. I'm thinking even because we've got that REM pod over there, so if that, we would be able to hear and see that from here.
My ears just popped.
Like proper, it like lifts immediately.
What did you just say?
My ears just popped.
Do you remember last time?
What?
No. Oh, I just got ringing in both my ears.
I have as well.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. But
Did you get that same time?
must have been a similar sort of time. I didn't think anything of it. It's just like your ears popped and mine did at the same time on the way in.
Oh, that was here. I forgot about that.
It was like must have been like a pressure change of some sort.
Because now my ears are really like locked.
Yeah. That happened when we left and we walked back in last time.
That's weird. I don't remember those.
I don't like looking in.
No, that's what I was like. I was gonna say, it feels safe out here, but I don't know if that's what I really mean. It's like it feels like we're
less scarier.
less, yeah.
Yeah,
Like it feels like there's a bit more of like distance between us and whatever.
I can see the light from the EM pump and the REM pod,
Yeah.
and it's to the point. It feels like there's so much going on between them and us, but just we can't see it.
Like that could be miles going into where
Yeah.
they are. Yeah, I was already feeling like that kind of weird,
Whoa.
like
My ears
sort
didn't
of
pop
like
coming back in though.
heart rate sort of starting to go, moving back towards that area.
Like, I get to a certain point and I can feel a pressure in my head. So I'm trying to like, but it was only the once, it's not doing it. But I got to probably about here.
That's about the same place we were last time, where our ears popped. It's about there.
There is a kind of weird, like swimmy head feeling here.
I know what you mean. It does. I feel a little, not dizzy,
No,
but a little
just
bit sort of.
heavy head.
Yeah.
With nothing substantial occurring, we changed to a more observational approach to the investigation, sitting on an old part of wall and simply watching and waiting for anything to happen.
Where are you guys like looking at?
I'm looking straight ahead at the doorway area.
Yeah.
But I'm just scanning side to side.
So am I. That's exactly what I'm doing. Between the tree, the church, the tree, the church, the tree, like
I
that.
find myself looking at the top area. But there's not really much there for anything to show itself at.
It's better when you can see the light through the window. You can see if
Yeah.
anything moves.
Yeah, when we were here earlier on, I was staring at that, thinking any minute something's going to walk past in its shadow. I didn't even think about maybe looking off
Has it got really foggy over there?
over there.
Yeah, like it looks like, whoa, look at,
Oh shit! Yeah.
am I just tripping or what? Look, there's like a massive fog
What?
just coming in. What?
I'll grab the camera.
I can't see it on
real?
mine. I can't see it on mine.
It's just like grass.
No, it genuinely looks like a moving fog.
A huge, like a massive,
Like, you know,
haze.
you see dew on the fields
yeah.
because of the condensation.
I don't think there is, because you can see through the torch.
Yeah.
It was like there was a big sort of haze.
That gave me proper chills though.
I saw it.
I could see like a lighter.
It just out of nowhere, just I looked that way and then all of a sudden like,
Yeah, it's just a huge,
like when the wind blows a fire and the smoke just like
yeah, just a
carries
huge
over.
dense mist.
Let's go back to here. So what's he saw?
This area here, I thought it was coming from there, but that's the bushes over that way.
Yeah.
But over that way, there was a big, just a dense fog.
Whoa, that's so low. I can't see it on mine.
Has it gone?
No, it's still sort of there, but in a weird.
Not as dense as it was.
Yeah.
So when we looked over there, I thought you meant this white.
No, like I can tell that's grass,
Yeah.
but it just looked like that's where it came from, and it just like blew.
The cameras can't really pick it
Yeah.
up.
I turned around and I thought that white was like thick fog there. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
it's-
my god.
it's raining.
Is it?
Yeah.
Try and grab a camera.
Yeah.
I think it's quite heavy, actually.
Should we start gradually picking stuff up?
Yeah, I think we've got to.
Oh yeah, I can feel
With the sudden onset of heavy rain, we were forced to end our investigation through fears of our equipment getting damaged. Although nowhere near as active as last time, the churchyard still had an unnerving air about it. We certainly think that Cole Christmas Church could be a site for further investigations in the future. Thank you for joining us in celebrating the first 10 years of Shadow Paranormal, as well as for the continued support from our fans and viewers, and we hope that you'll accompany us as we move forwards into the next chapter of our story. We've merely begun to scratch the surface.